You are now listening to the Super Coach Experience. The Super Coach Experience. The Super Coach Experience.
Howdy, welcome to Audi. Welcome back to the Supercoach Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brendan Savage, the coach of the Savage Turbos, and I'm joined here by Tim Moody, the 18th man. Late scratching in Jake has happened within the last hour, but we're joined here by Tim, and he's backing up 2 days in a row, backing up from Origin last night. How are you, Tim?
Awesome, man. I was in a bit of a crappy mood yesterday, so things have been a lot nicer for me today, and it's nice to be able to not be in a shitty mood again for you guys.
Listen, the first probably 3 sentences that you spoke in yesterday's podcast, you could just tell you were off. You were just like, I feel like you were saying one word of responses to Mike here. Mike was like, yep. But, you've had some time to think about Supercoach and think which ways you want to go now. So it's probably good that you've had a day to think about it from the podcast and you're able to get your thoughts together and get them across more clearly today.
Sure, yeah. I was a bit rolled up. Mikey and I were debating about a certain topic regarding our team, the Panthers, and I was on one side of the fence, he was on the other, and it rolled me up. So I came into the podcast yeah, look, that's fine though.
Unfortunately, Jake wasn't on the podcast today. There was a very small time window that we could line up, and then we had it lined up, but it wasn't to be. So Jake, we'll definitely have all of us on the panel next week for the Super Trade round. But this week is actually false-startedly the Super Trade round.
That's right. I think I was one of the first to catch on to that in the Supercoach community, by the way.
So how did you feel about that when you saw it? Well, what was your initial reactions?
Freaked out. I started just messaging everyone I knew about it. Like, what's going on? This is not part of my plans. And worried me.
To be fair, I think I was going to it doesn't really affect me because I wasn't going to use 5 trades. I was going to use 2 trades next week anyway. So I didn't think I wasn't that affected by it. I was actually hoping it was going to stick because obviously it throws everyone else's plans out, but it doesn't throw mine out. So it would have been nice if it stuck, but obviously they can't do that. Like that just defeats the purpose of the credibility of the game. So I'm glad that wasn't something that was going to be a massive hot issue this week. But moving on to the Supercoach side of things, round 15, this week looks to be a lot easier than the weeks in the last 2 weeks, but last week was quite a disaster for mine. 987, captained Hines, and just nothing went my way. Kept Charlie Staines just thinking that he would keep that try-scoring record up against the Sharks, and what do you know? The Sharks finally get one up on the Penrith Panthers. Staines is out for me this week for Suwali. That's the only trade I'm making. I'm out of the top 1,000 now, ranked 1,300, so got some clawing back to do. But I can't just keep chasing my tail all year. I've got to save some trades. So this week, saving 1 trade. So hopefully it sticks. But yeah, let's see how we go. Tim, you had some thoughts put across on the podcast yesterday. Are you still sticking strong?
To where? To not giving away much?
Oh, yeah. No, you weren't giving away your trades, hey?
Yeah, I was sort of going to keep things a little bit closer to my chest, but look, I decided that I don't need to do that. I'm not that. It's too far away for that yet, and I don't want to be counting my chickens before they hatch. So, look, if we start getting about 5 weeks out, I might start keeping those secrets. I don't think there's too many secrets at this stage of the year, to be honest. We're all sort of just targeting
and
the round 17 players, so we're all
to,
probably going to be trying to get the same ones.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair,
I was in a bad mood yesterday.
No, that's fair enough. You are forgiven. And, targeting poor old Sal over here.
Yeah, I gave it to you this week.
You really wanted Supercoach 360 to absolutely roast me over my loss to Con. But, they kind of went soft and you kind of had to push them into a corner to do it.
Mate, you don't even know the whole extent of it. As soon as you lost that game to Con, I was messaging them all going, all right, this is exactly how you need to set it up to really stitch him up. And I had a perfect setup for it. I think it required too much effort, and I wasn't really willing to do the groundwork. I think they were going to, but realised how much effort was going to be. But yeah, so look, I was really trying to get you, mate. But look, I'll take it. I did poke him with a stick a fair bit on the show live to have a go at you, but eventually they came to the party and held back. But I think they might have held back a little bit because they know that come semi-final time, mate, you're probably might get the last laugh. You're a serious contender, buddy.
To be fair, it's warranted. I give it out to Jake so much. So about time someone had ammo on me to absolutely give it to me. I know Mikey's given it to me for no trades all year, but, I've been able to say back to him, well, you're ranked 10,000. And I mean,
he's coming 8,000 now. He's coming 8,000.
That would have been my response with the Supercoach 360 boys, but I feel like there's no response. I'm just copying it on the chin right now because he beat me fair and square. 16 players. He wasn't scrambling to get a 17th in. He was just confident in his men, and he killed it this week. So good on him. Good play, and
they're good blokes too.
Yeah, they're really good blokes. They're really fun and have a lot of fun on their show. I think next year we're aiming to do so. This kind of stems on to something I was going to say today. Anyway, you may have heard there's a few ads on this podcast now. We do have Top Sport on as a sponsor, and we've got ads playing throughout the episode. This is all.
Well, I'll just have to say, with those ads and stuff, we need to use those ads for a short period just to pay for. See, Brandon bought a voice changing device just to make him sound a bit deeper and have a bit more of a bass, a robust sort of presenting voice. He's denied it for the last couple of weeks, but occasionally when he thinks people aren't noticing, he just brings it out from week to week and uses it again because he spent the money. So that's where all that money's going.
So if you're not aware that when I speak to people on Zoom calls and stuff, my voice is a bit deeper. So you listening to this podcast right now, you won't hear it, but Tim is hearing it at the moment. It's probably putting him way off.
They won't hear it.
No, they won't hear it. They'll hear it on the Zoom call with Jay Lenton in very shortly. But yeah, you can give me shit about that as well. But continuing on to that, we're pretty much building up a pool of money and going to invest it straight back into the show. We're going to get heaps of equipment, and we're going to try and get, I guess with the Supercoach 360 boys, they've got a live stream going. We're going to try and get something better than that going on.
I think that's the way we need to go. I don't know whether I mentioned it before, or whether you've pulled it out of my mind, but I think that's the way it going forward, the way this show
I definitely think so too. I think the live show is going to be just great for the show. We're not going to get into it this year because we don't have the equipment for it. So that's what these ads are going to do, and maybe at some point later in the season or next season we'll just completely take them off because I know it's absolutely flooding the episode, it feels sometimes, but it's kind of what we're striving for something, and this is a way to do it. But yeah, moving forward, Supercoach hot topics of the week. We're going to get into that, but first we're going to show you a call with Jay Lenton. He's doing a walk for 150 kilometers for charity. And
150 meters, everyone's like,
it's done in 2 seconds. So we're going to play that chat right now, and he's just going to tell you about it for the Mark Hughes Foundation. It is Beanies for Brain Cancer Round, so let's get into that.
Flipping over to you live, Jay.
G'day, guys. Welcoming back to the show a good friend of the show, Jay Lenton. Late decision to play Burbo last week. Very controversial, but then he made another late decision to scratch him. Jay, how are you going?
Look, I've heard a lot of auto emergencies got Burbo last week, and it turned out that I probably should have kept him in there. But Dom Young got 50 on for me, so thankfully he scored because Newcastle didn't do too much else. But apart from that, I'm pretty good. How are you guys?
Yeah, very good. Their only try scorer by the looks of it, and so you had a pretty average list to choose from, didn't you?
Yeah, I was struggling a little bit with obviously Penrith deciding that they're better than everyone and not playing any of their Origin guys and still losing. That hurt me a little bit with Cleary, Luai, and sitting there doing nothing. But I had a decent week, 11, 20 something in the end, which is probably mid-range, I would have thought this week.
Push you up the rankings a little bit?
Yeah, I think I went up a couple of hundred. I'm in the low 8,000s now, which is a lot better than my 14,000 or 12. No, actually, I got the 20s a couple of weeks ago. But it's a lot worse than 64.
That's a massive fall from rank 68th after, 2 or 3 rounds, was it?
Oh, yeah, I think it was round 2. I was up there in the top 70 thinking that I was the world's best super coacher, and then reality hit.
So, obviously, you've been on the climb recently from the most recent form. What have been your key trades that have helped this?
I think I just kind of stuck with the pack a little bit. I tried to steer clear of a couple of the big gets that everyone had. I changed to Gutho and Turbo when Pappy was down, and Teddy, probably the last time I was on the show, actually, and that was the decision that's kind of done quite well. I got Turbo in, and as we all know, he's dominating. It's been a couple of hours. Brought Pangai in eventually. Just the guys that I probably should have brought in a couple of weeks earlier, I finally got in, so that's probably helped.
Yeah, very nice. So at the moment, you're actually in the car on the way to a hotel in order for your big walk tomorrow, is it?
Yeah, yep. So I've just pulled up at the Meriden Suites in Waterloo as we speak, where we're setting off on a 150-kilometre walk in the morning at 5:30 at Moore Park at NRL headquarters for the Mark Hughes Foundation. So I think there was about 200 people that did a walk today from NRL headquarters out to the Opera House. There was a lot of obviously league people there today. It's raining a little bit now, which scares me, but today was pretty good. So off at 5:30 in the morning. I think there's 25 of us that are going to do the walk. Some have just been saying that I'm the most desperate Knights fan ever, and I'll do anything to go watch them. So I'm walking to the Knights game on Saturday afternoon at McDonald Jones Stadium. So walking with some rugby league greats, some pretty super coach relevant people back in the day too. Billy Peden, who would have been an absolute superstar, I would have thought, in super coach points. Chris Lawrence is doing the walk. Adam Gorrell's doing the walk. Todd Lowry. And one of my favourites, which I think I might fangirl him in the morning, Akili Latte is doing the walk as well. So if his odds or anything like that way playing footy, it's going to be a great 150K.
Over 150 Ks. I was just going to say, mate, you might get the opportunity to get a bit of super coach insight off some of these guys that might have some inside knowledge.
Oh, to be honest with you, I think I might just sit there and chew Billy Peter's ear off about the 2 grand finals that we've won. That could be all I'm doing, reliving his 20 years and 25 or 24 years ago since we last won one. So I could be just living in his pocket for the whole trip.
Nice.
Very, very good. Sounds very exciting as a Newcastle fan like yourself. I can't relate to being a Newcastle fan.
I don't think many can at the moment. I'm still hanging on. I hung on through the dark years and I'm still going.
Yeah,
Brando was a bloody
yeah, I used to be a
Newcastle supporter 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was a Newcastle supporter, and I went through them dark times, and I jumped ship when they were actually looking like they were coming out of it when Ponga came. So, like I understand the passion for the club, and Uarte, he was a superstar back in the day, so that's very exciting. So 150 Ks over 3 days, is it?
Yeah, it'll be over 3 days. So 5:30 in the morning tomorrow to about 11 o'clock at night. We'll hitch up at Terrigal tomorrow night, then Terrigal through to Caves Beach on day 2, and then Caves Beach into McDonald Jones on day 3. So it's going to be physically tough, mentally tough, and if it's going to rain, I think there could be some complaining very early.
How confident are you that you're going to do it within good time?
Look, it's been sorted out quite well. There's some guys that have done some pretty experienced ultra marathons and things like that have come in and sorted out the route for us to go up the coast. They've allowed a lot of time, and they've obviously factored a lot of things in. So, look, the pace mightn't be great, but it's something that we're doing it for brain cancer and the Beanies for brain cancer round. So there's a lot of people out there doing it a lot tougher than we are. So a couple of nights in the rain's not going to hurt us.
Yeah, awesome. So very fitting we've got you on for this 5 minutes to get you to talk about this, because it is the Beanies for Brain Cancer round. So if you want to donate to Jay's cause, he has a link in the description on his Instagram page, and we've also posted it on our Instagram page as well. Get behind him and donate if you can. If you can't, just get behind it. And I'm sure he will be very stinging for that beer on the hill on Saturday.
Yeah, I think the word of the day, which got me up for it, even though it's raining, is apparently we're in a box on Saturday afternoon, and we're trying to get into the sheds after it. So that I'll be the only one that enjoys it, but at least it might get me there the last day.
Singing the team song and all, huh?
It's that long since we've sung it. I don't think anyone knows the words.
Banging the esky in the middle, be that guy.
That could be me.
Getting the hot going. Yeah.
Well, good luck, and we'll definitely be rooting for you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me on. And yeah, as you said, you can go donate. It doesn't just have to be to my page. It can be to obviously anyone that's doing it on the Mark Hughes Foundation, and you can go out there and buy a beanie. I think they're $20 if for a toddler's one, and $25 for a male or a female one. And obviously it goes to a great cause. So yeah, appreciate it, guys. And think of me on tomorrow night as you guys are sitting there having a beer in your nice warm lounge room. I'll be somewhere in a bush between Wagstaff and Terrigal, I think.
Good on you, man.
I'm actually doing a trek of my own, driving to Adelaide in an RV on Thursday night. So I'm quite excited for that kind of trek, but I guess mine is probably a little easier than your trek.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being undercover in that. So you all the best with yours, but I think I mightn't be thinking of you on Thursday night. I might be in a deep, dark pain cave.
That's all right. Good luck. And good luck with everyone, and hope you enjoy the days.
Thanks, guys. Much appreciated.
All right. Great chat with Jay. I'm back from the deep voice changing effects that Zoom brings across. The voice changer. How off-putting is it, Tim?
I don't. It doesn't throw me too much. I just feel like I'm talking to a different person. That's all it is. So I feel a bit intimidated and I'm not as comfortable with you. I feel like you're a new person. I have to somehow impress or something, make you like me again.
Well, I'm still the same old Sal.
So that's it.
So hot topics of the week. We're going to start here with the Rabbitohs duo of Cody Walker and Alex Johnston. So in the center wing area, Alex Johnston was one of the most traded in last week, and he's the second most traded in this week. He's got a break even of minus 71, 554,000. I mean, I definitely see the appeal coming off 150 and 124. I see the appeal here, but he's the kind of player you want in as a pod that can score big. And I think the fact that so many people have jumped on him, I'm not keen to have a player who can score under 20.
It's really interesting you say that, man, because I was really disappointed that he scored well last week. I thought if he could have just, scored about a 65, 70, even an 80, maybe 80 probably still would have been on people's radars a bit more so. But yeah, if he could have gone low that week and then stayed under the radar and been a bit more of a pod, it would have been fantastic. But I didn't actually consider that, man. The fact that he is now sort of highly owned, he is that player that does have, as they say, rocks or diamonds. He does have that ability to pop out a 20 if he just doesn't get the try, and all that. As lethal as the left side is, they might go to it, but it might not work out because the player that's playing on the wing for the opposite side might rush out and knock that ball down, and then they end up going to a different play on the next set. You know what I mean? Just things like that. So there's lots of little different factors that can prevent what seems like an easy ton on the left wing for the Bunnies could also be some pretty easy 20s that, as a antipod, it could be the I don't know. Like, it's such a funny one, man. I'm glad I'm on the side of having him, because I'm more scared.
So you've got him.
I got him last week. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Good move.
Yeah.
I just feel like, okay, well, I guess I'm not convincing you otherwise, but you're seeing my point of view.
Yeah, 100%.
He had a
made
dream.
Me think about that.
Yeah, he had a dream run a couple of earlier in the season with the Bulldogs, Broncos, and Tigers, and he only scored 33, 85, and 26. They're scores that the 85 is very good. Is very good. But the 33 and 26 against weaker opponents, that's a real kick in the guts, because they're the kind of games that you rely on him scoring tries to get one up on your opponent. And like, it's just proven that he can produce that against bad sides. I'm not saying he's going to, but I just feel like the fact that he's so highly owned, and the fact that they played the Broncos and beat them comfortably, and he only scored 85, like, it is worrying signs for me. I know the last few weeks he scored 150, 124, but he's also scored hat-tricks. I think with 2 tries, he's more at that 85 range, but you are relying on him to score 2 tries. That being said, the left side is their attacking side, so balls are always going to go to him. It's just, it's too risky for mine to rely on tries.
If people were in that position where they're sort of a bit standoffish on Alex Johnson, because a lot of people wouldn't have even been thinking about Alex Johnson if the run wasn't so nice that he's got over the next little bit.
Yep.
And also for a lot of it to the run home as well, I guess. But I just think that if you're prepared to spend a little bit more, when a lot of people are saying this guy's overs, is if you were prepared to spend whatever, I think it's $550 now, and you'd missed paying that extra bit for him this week, you could go Ruben Garrick. And, with goal kicking, you got that little bit of extra safety. If he's not getting the tries and the rest of the team are, he's kicking those goals anyway. And I just think that he's got a little bit more of a base quality probably than
Alex
AJ.
Johnson. Yeah, I agree.
I just think there's a bit more. Yeah, if you can afford that and you wanted to stay away from, going with the pack, there. A lot of people are sort of talking themselves out of Garrick because of the price.
Yeah, I actually really like it. So 36 points in hit-ups on the weekend, which is massive. I know he played fullback, but wing, he's just getting as many points in hit-ups. Tackle bust, 12. So that's 48 points just in, you would say, base. 3 tackles, so they're 51. And then 28 in goals. So 80 points right there just in base when Manly put on points. And with the draw coming up and with Tommy not being rested this week, they're going to score points. So, the fact that he only needed 1 try and 1 line break to ton up is very reassuring for a centre wing, in my opinion.
And the nice thing is too, is you've got that little bit of a surety that when Tommy's not in the side, he's going to go back to fullback, and he did score well there last week. So you're not losing anything with not having Tommy in the side as much, especially considering Manly showed last week that without Tommy, they can actually perform quite well and be a super attacking juggernaut still.
I agree. Second hot topic, Greg Marzhew. 173,000, top traded in. Are you considering Greg Marzu, or do you think Matthew Tomoko, Bailey Simonson, or Joseph Suwali are all better purchases considering they play round 17?
Yeah, I think they're probably better purchases like Simpson or I'd be look. Let me say on Simonson, I would not buy him this week. I don't know what his BE is. I really want to have another look at him at fullback. I did sort of mention yesterday that the Broncos are an easier team, and I just
Yeah.
even though the Dragons are going to be an relatively easy team as well, we'll get some sort of basis, I think, of whether it's consistent. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
crazy thing about Bailey Simpson is he scored that 100 without a try, and there's not too many bloody people other than like a James Tedesco that's or like obviously like Tommy and stuff like that, but Teddy hasn't scored apparently since round 4 I've seen, and I don't know whether that's true, but I think that's a fact. So look, you'd have to see whether that was Teddy. I don't know. I sometimes get Teddy Turbo mixed up just because their names start with T, but I
Yeah.
obviously don't get the players confused. Just the names. Yeah, Simonson. Yeah, I'd want to have another look at it. I mean, he was running and going well, but I just want to see how influential he can be consistently. Whether that was just a one taking his opportunity and trying to really stand up, and whether, I don't know, just have another look at that. Tomoko, I think he looked really nice, but I think there is a bit of job security fears. I don't know what's going on with bloody Croker. It doesn't seem like he's on the urge back. I feel like he could be out for the year or something. They haven't.
I
Really
think he's
talked to him.
dropped. I think they've dropped him.
Really?
Yep.
That's huge. Okay.
Don't quote
they
me
just-
if you're
but-
listening, but I think I'm pretty confident that's the case.
That's interesting. Yeah, 'cause I think with a play like that, you might not want to rub it in or whatever. You just make up some other reasons that
Yeah.
might suit everything else better. Yeah. Cool. And what was that other one we mentioned other than
Joseph Suwali. So obviously,
Suwali? Yeah, they were like Suwali, great as well. But the thing is with him, Mikey mentioned last night that Billy Smith's on the is lurking as well. So I think you'd really want to see what happens this week. The Roosters play the third game, so we'll be able to see whether Teddy sits out this game due to his hip again, and if he does, what happens with that? Does Billy come in, or does Suwali? And if Suwali comes in, I'd probably say go for it for sure. But if he doesn't come in, then you'd want to hold off maybe and use it in the once you've got the nod that he's starting.
yep, I agree. So Bailey Simonson had 2 try assists on the weekend. He's had 3 try assists in his career, and 2 of them were on the weekend. So that just proves that the Broncos are not a team to really base
It's the only time
someone
he's
off.
played fullback, isn't it? I might be wrong. He might have.
He's
slipped
played
in
he's
couple of
played
times before.
I think maybe once before, but
Yeah, it's
maybe
a bit
in
hard
the
to set
middle.
up tries on the wing. Like,
In the middle of a game. I get ya, but I definitely won't be buying. And 350k, you're better off going someone like Talakai.
yeah, price wise, yeah, I think so too. But
And
look, I think it's a really hard one to say, man. I think you'd really he could really do really well. He looked good, man, regardless to whether it was Broncos. I know I'm contradicting myself, but what I've seen him doing, it actually looked great.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the last hot topic of the day is Origin versus buy players. So are we targeting any Origin players that won't be playing round 17 before the buy round plays to strengthen our side in between and to make sure we have the players before the buy rounds end? Is there anyone you think you're targeting, or do you think it's a good strategy to get someone in that is very that is in that category?
I think it sort of comes down to what your game plan is. As long as you know, if you wanted to bring in one of those players, know why you're doing it. Be prepared that that might mean that you will have less numbers on round 17, and you might regret that in round 17, or you may not. So I think you just got to weigh that up, and if that player that you're thinking about bringing in is an Origin player that won't be playing in that round 17, just sort of maybe do the maths estimate how much you think they might score over the next 2 weeks versus someone else that might be that's guaranteed to play 17 and will play around 15, 16, 17 and 18, whereas some of your players may not play the 17, 18. So if you think that that player can outscore them over that period, then might be worth the move. That's, maybe all I could say.
One thing I am thinking about is Connor Watson to Damien Cook. You actually make $5,000 from the trade, which at the start of the season you would have been absolutely frothing over. Damien Cook has already got 3 tons this season in the space of 13 games. I'm not sure if personally I'm willing to pull the trigger because I think Cook probably isn't in the final 2 top hookers at the end of the season. And I really feel like if I'm making a trade for a hooker now, I'm not trading him out. I'm trading Jaden Brayley to Harry Grant if I need to for the other trade. Is it just not worth the trade, or do you see merit in Cook? Is Cook in everyone's side?
I don't mind it. I think because, Watson, if you've got Watson at hooker and you can't get Watson to 5'8" because of, those positions are all taken up by guns that you've got there or whatever, or people you're not prepared to sell, and you really don't want to lose that cash that you've made on him, then it might be worth making the move, because I think that Cookie is a real solid option, man. I think that, I think he's someone I'd like to have.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it for the hot topics. We're going to try and rush through this one. We've had a podcast yesterday, and we've got to answer your Facebook questions coming up. So just before we move on to the Facebook questions, just want to let you know that TopSport has jumped on board, and to join up, all you have to do is follow the links and put through in the promo code SC Experience, and they'll look after you. It just helps us out, and thank you so much for TopSport for jumping on board. Over 18, gamble responsibly. I know we've pretty much put our best bets on the TopSport market every week, and I think most of us have laid out $20. So say we're betting $10 every bet. Mikey would have 0, Tim would have 0, and I would have lost $2. So with the bet that I did last week with Josh Adokar scoring...
I think the important thing to say is that we'd be negative, wouldn't we? We wouldn't just have 0, we'd be in a loss.
So, gamble responsibly. Not necessarily follow our tips, but follow your own, follow your gut. But we're going to put one up there every week just to... Just for fun, I guess.
One thing I did sort of mention to you guys about TopSport, just in our private chats, is they've got this really nice market which is called mixed. It's called Tripod Mixed Matchup, and it'll be like a player for say hypothetically, the Rabbitohs to score more points than Manly this week in different games. You know what I mean? So you'll have one team from one game versus a team from another game. And actually every single one of these that they've put up have won over the last 5 weeks, and there've been some pretty juicy odds there as well. So have a look for that market. It's really nice. The Tripod Mixed Matchup.
Okay, so this week it's Rabbitohs to score more points than the Eels at $2.75. I actually really like that.
Yeah.
That's really good odds.
Yeah.
Who Parramatta playing?
Rabbitohs again. Para playing the Dogs. And the Dogs show a little bit of resilience in defence, and then I just really think that Brisbane will fall over. So I think that's a really great bet. And the reason it's a good bet is it's not created by TopSport, I believe. I believe it's created by these Tripod Boys, a group that are sponsored also by TopSport, and they request the market and then they create a price for that for them. And it's usually a bit of a promo one. I think you can have a fair bit on it too.
$200 is the maximum, so that's pretty good.
Normally your promos are like $20 or $50, so that's solid.
Yep. All right, so let's move into Facebook questions. Anthony Renee Cashman, hey legends, just snuck back into the top 1,000, sitting 986. I want to bring in 3 this week. I can't decide which order and who to leave till next week. I want AJ, SJ, Ramian. Who should I get and leave until next week? Thanks, Casho. So personally, if you want AJ and you're going to get him, you get him this week. Ramian and SJ, I probably get SJ because he is a spine player and he is more likely to produce points. And Ramian, I'll wait till next week. Actually, I'll probably go Ramian because his break even is a bit lower. I'll just double check that. But what are your thoughts, Tim?
Just sort of brought the question up now. So he's trying to get AJ, SJ, and Ramian, and you just trying to prioritize which two.
Yep. So Ramian's break even is 17. Sean Johnson's break even is 35. So,
well, I would say go AJ based on the fact that I chose him over Ramian last week, and I picked him as a preference.
Yep.
I might end up with both going into 17, but I don't know. I might stay off Ramian. That's why I sort of having a closer look.
Yep.
He's been consistent as hell, but yeah, I think man, I don't know. If you want to go the pod one, you could go SJ and Ramian because they connect. And they're opposite sides. Same side.
Nah, opposite. Oh, no, they're the same side. They're the same side. Yes.
Yeah, and on the same side as Nakora. So yeah, it might be a good thing. Plus, as you were saying before, Sal, that the AJ thing's no longer a pod thing. So maybe if he wants to go a podier move, or if he wants to go more with the pack, that's something you should consider.
Yep, I agree. So moving on to Aaron De Cruz, thoughts on Adam Fanil-Blake as an upgrade option for Utukamanu. Already have Papali'i, Takiaho, then Pangai in my second row. Thoughts on him as a value pickup for the buy and the run home? Someone I haven't. I looked at
heaps close. He's on my radar, but I haven't looked at his price.
Yeah, I looked at him last week. I looked at his score and I was like, yeah, I'm very keen. He's starting this week with a break-even of 123. So, Utukamano's BE is still quite low. It's 21 this week. So I would wait 1 week. And I think that's a trade to make next week.
Yeah.
I
like
agree.
That too. I don't think you need to rush that one.
Yeah, I agree. He's not going to... we know he can score 2 tries in a game, 3 tries. But hopefully this week isn't the week. But I guess if you've got no other pressing issues, do it this week and you get the jump on everybody. So I don't hate it if you want to go early. Andrew McPherson, thoughts on Laurie and Schuster to Talakai and SJ, trying to bank some cash and bring back Fafita and perhaps depending on his HIA situation. So Laurie and Schuster to Talakai and SJ, do you like it or do you need to sit and wait on Talakai?
I don't know if you do need to sit and wait on Talakai. That's what I've been asking myself. I think you could go week early. I think you'd have to stink it up to lose his spot. I know they've got like Teague Wilton and stuff around there as well, but I just reckon that the way that the season would go, I think he just seems like a more of a threat to have, you know what I mean, on an edge.
Yep.
Than Teague Wilton. I think he could be a go, man. But I mean, if you wanted to wait, I mean, it's probably ideal, but I don't think you have to. I don't think he's going to be a bench.
I think
I could be wrong. You'd have to stink it up to lose that spot, I think.
If you think he's going to score well this week, get him this week because I guarantee you he's not going to be a pod after next week. So he's already the 4th most traded in this week. So get him in this week. If under no circumstance you're not going to get him next week. So.
I can't see him going above 100 or anything like that. So I don't think it is necessary. I
think he needs a bit of match fitness in first before he. But thoughts on Laurie and Schuster? What's the go with Schuster? I think he's injured, so I assume he'll be back in round. He's
meant to be back.
He'll be
back in the mix, and he'll be relevant, man. He's very useful for their side. I know they've got other people, in that mix as well, like Curtis here and all that. But he's very useful to him, bro. So
I would hold Schuster.
And if anything, he'll end up as a 5'8" because bloody Kieran Foran will end up getting hurt.
Yeah, and just don't forget round 17, Foran will go to 7, and Schuster will play 6 regardless. So,
but I do think Dane Laurie's a sell.
Yes, I agree. I sold him last week, thankfully. Luke Mook. is Laurie to Garrick a strong trade this week, or should I conserve my excess money and get Ramian Talakai Ikavalu?
That's a cool name, Luke Muke. I like it.
I'm not sure if I pronounce
That's how
it right,
I
but
know it's mad. Luke
yeah,
Muke. I like
Luke
it.
Muke. It's like
Reminds me of,
Mike.
It reminds me of Duke Nukem. It's got that Duke Nuke sort of. Yeah, I like it. All right. You're probably too young to know what Duke Nukem is anyway.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. It used to be a computer game. That's fine.
So what would you do? Do you think Garrick is like? I honestly think just go Garrick. I think he's going to be a gun center wing.
Yeah. I like it if you can afford it, and I really like it.
And like I used to base my thoughts on Garrick off last year, but if you have a look at his stats this year, he just hasn't put a foot wrong.
Manly are a contender too, I think. So they're a serious team.
Yeah, I agree. Dean Pickup, what a last name. 13 trades left. Is Mulatalo worth a trade in for Staines?
Would anybody like
Killer,
some
AJ,
I'd like some food. I'd like some food.